1 second. Welcome
It's not
everyone
Eugene.
to Ladder Daily Digest and Momo Nomo and Third Verse, also known as
Megan Connor.
Megan
That's
Connor.
my name. It's right there, or right there.
It's right down there.
Midlife Revolution.
That's it.
Right. And so we thought we would bring some good news, since there's been lots of heavy news the last 10 or 12 days or so. And so we thought we'd ask, is there good in the world? Because when you're Mormon, the only good that can happen is within your Mormon bubble. But we say that we live in the world, but not of the world. And we are shocked to find out that people that have never been Mormon, people that are Buddhist, people that are Hindu, people that are whatever religion that's out there, there are good people everywhere. And things are happening good throughout the world all the time. And Randy saw some good news, some feel-good stories, and we'd like to share them with you. And so, Megan, do you have anything to say on top of that?
Oh, I'm glad we're doing this today, because I think it's been heavy lately. And if my dreams are any indication, I've been way too far down the rabbit hole of bad news and crime, because that's all I have dreamt about for the last several nights.
And by the way, you said people all around the world, Gene, but please remember that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the only one true church upon the face of the earth. So truly good news can only come from the Latter-day Saints.
That's what we grew up with. And now we're going to share the good news that our world had shattered, and we're finding out the things that we were taught when we were young were basically indoctrination and not really necessarily what the world is like. There are things that we need to be precautioned about, right? We need to take caution. There's a saying, there's a song that says, do what is right, let the consequence follow, right? There's also do what is wrong and let the consequence follow. And so we can all be taught that whatever we do, there are going to be consequences to our actions, and we can be prepared for them. And when you're in a bubble where you think you're in the only right truth, and that whatever 15 men who are over 80 years old and sometimes over 100 apparently now know what's best for you, then you've got a lot more coming to learn in the world. And so,
are you referring to Tim Rathbone when you said the older men? Because Tim just entered into the conversation.
Tim is one fighting against the 15 that I was referring to.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll just preface this video. This is a feel-good video. I've got a couple of feel-good videos that I want to share with you, but we'll take turns, and I'll do it the second one a little later. My fiance, Amanda, of whom I've spoken many times, her and I really enjoy a night out at the Spokane Comedy Club. They have some pretty big names come through, and you know what? It's cheap entertainment. I mean, it doesn't cost that much to get in, and so you have, some drinks and some snacks and stuff, and it's just a great evening. And I saw that Drew Lynch was coming to town. Drew is the stuttering comedian from America's Got Talent. He came in, I think he ended up second place in the whole thing, but his personality is so sweet. And sometimes he has stuttering attacks where he can barely talk, but he's been doing really well, going through therapy. Anyway, we went to see him at the Spokane Comedy Club. I chose the 7:30 show so we could get home in a timely fashion for our stepdaughter, my stepdaughter, her daughter. And so we went to the early show. The 9:30 show, there was something that occurred that I want to show you. And I'd like you to pay close attention to his reaction, Drew's reaction. So I'll, without any further ado, I'll go ahead and play this. Let's see, we're not getting any sound here. It helps when there's sound. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and try to make it full screen too, so that people can see it better.
Okay.
Maybe you can't. If it's in Facebook, you
Oh,
won't
hey,
be able
everything
to.
okay? Oh, no. Oh, no. Is there a medic in the house at all?
It went off the screen, Randy.
I'm so sorry. I was.
We're getting used to pressing the buttons, and sometimes we hit the wrong buttons. And 5 or 6 years from now, we'll have everything run smoothly. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I apologize. Let me try this again. What's happening is I was trying to get it to go full screen.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mentioned
must
that
have-
if it's in Facebook, you won't be able to. So
Yeah.
if it was
Yeah.
if you were just playing it from some other media, you might be able to get a full screen going.
No, it's Facebook. Let's try it again. Like I said, this is the 9:30 show. We went to the 7:30 show.
So you weren't there when this happened?
Nope. This was this was an hour after we were
Right.
there.
Do you want me to
So
add it?
let's try it again.
Okay. Oh, no. Oh, no. Is there a medic in the house at all? Thanks, guys. Some room, guys. If I could just take a second here, just guys, with you real quick, because like, that was incredible, dude. Like, I know we're here making jokes and doing a bunch of shit, just about like the town, but you guys all really just came together in a really cool way, dude. You saved that guy's life, man. I mean, that was crazy. You guys like worked together so fast. I mean, that was nuts, man. Like, you guys should like to just witness that. I mean, that was crazy. I have literally the hardest job in the world now. And that's mostly what this is about. I'm dabbing my eyes. I'm like a widow at a funeral right now. I'm like literally. Yeah, no, it's I mean, can you guys give a hand to the people who saved that guy's life? That was crazy. That was crazy. Oh, hey, everything okay?
That makes me emotional every time I see it. because his heart was so big and he cared so much. As a follow-up, the man survived, and they were able to revive him at the hospital, and Drew is going to see him today. But to see total strangers just flock to this guy, not knowing him, not knowing his story, just suddenly start CPR and save his life. I just think that's so cool. What a feel-good story.
That's right. Drew owes him the rest of the show that the guy missed.
I thought that was funny when Drew said, I literally have the hardest job in the world right now.
Yeah.
Because and on his follow-up video, he wept through the whole thing, still so touched, with the city of Spokane. It's funny, he made fun of Spokane in the beginning of his act in a real playful, fun way. But
Did you take it personal?
No, because he did it in such a cute fashion that no one took it personal. But yeah, he said, I'll never make fun of Spokane again.
I might have missed it, but I did not hear anybody yell, does anyone have any consecrated oil?
Well, that was after he got to the hospital.
Did anybody hear that? I didn't hear that.
Well, if it had been Salt Lake, then that would have been asked, but
That's
it's
right.
Spokane.
Yeah, forget the paramedics. Get 2 elders in there.
And that's what I think. We consider, lots of people consider the Bible stories to be true, and that Jesus brought Lazarus back to life. And literally hundreds of times a year, people are doing that. Not because of God or Jesus or consecrated oil, but
Because of science.
Because of science. Because we've studied things and we realize what it takes to be alive, what it takes to stay alive, what it takes to recover somebody. What's it called? What's CPR called? What are the words the letters stand for?
Cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
To resuscitate somebody, right? It takes
high five, Megan.
That's right. And so I can only ask the questions. I actually knew the answer when I was going to grade you guys on it later, but anyhow, and that is the part of the good in the world. Science is part of the good.
Right.
Now, Randy, I assume that he's going to examine his set to find out exactly which joke caused the heart attack.
Right.
And remove that from the routine. At least I'm hopeful that's what's going to happen.
Or it could be the giant hot dogs that they serve at the comedy club, because that's the only thing on the menu. Well, there's a few other items, but mostly they have all these hot dogs named after celebrity comedians. Like you can get the Rodney Dangerfield, which is, the big, huge hot dogs with
the one that doesn't give you any respect.
Yeah, right. You get no respect. Yeah.
That hot dog apologizes to you throughout that it's not adequate.
In my mind, when I just did Rodney Dangerfield, in my mind, I sounded just like him.
It did. I was wondering where Randy went.
When I do impersonations, like, I gotta have more cowbell. In my brain, that sounds just like Christopher Walken.
It sounds a lot like him.
If I were a comedian, I could announce to the audience, I'm going to do some impersonations and you won't recognize them, but trust me, inside here, they sound perfect.
See, I can do an impression of Megan. My impression of Megan is that she's a really, really nice person.
Thanks, Gene. I appreciate it. My impression of you is that you have great tie-dye shirts.
Yeah, thank you. I do.
But can you do Kermit the Frog?
I can, but
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here.
There you go.
It's not bad.
Thanks.
I can only do the coffee talk lady. And that's about it. Well, I do a pretty good British accent as well. Well, I guess I
Well,
should ask our people from Great Britain if my accent is adequate or not.
Right.
maybe
You
you could
also
do the
do a
coffee
good
talk lady.
Mormon church lady, Mormon
Oh,
church
yes, you
Mm.
do.
speakers. Any of the 3 of the 40 talks are given by women, and you have their voice down really well, I think.
You know, I have to repent just a little bit because my daughter follows someone on social media. And this person put up a request to please not make fun of the baby Fundy voice when we come around to conference here in a couple of weeks, because we all need to realize that that is a learned behavior that women adopted in order to protect themselves in an unsafe society. And what I said to her was, well, I guess this person was advocating for attacking the system and not the people. And I said, that's exactly why I make fun of it, is because the system creates a need for that voice. And the system supports women who use that voice so that they seem less threatening to the men, so that they're saying to the men, even though I'm speaking in general conference, I am not here to usurp your power, brethren.
That
It's
takes
just
me
a thing.
right to general conference when you do that. That's perfect.
Which is in 2 weeks if anybody wants to know.
It is in 2
And
weeks. And yeah,
I'm not doing my coffee. I've already done that this morning because this is a 1 o'clock show. I'm usually done with my coffee by then. But Megan, I would still love it if you would do the coffee talk lady, because coffee talk is Garrett, my son Garrett, and I always impersonate them, like, you know what? Who cares? You know how many
yes,
husbands he has? She has 0 times 0. Can you do a coffee talk?
I can. I don't have the nails for it, but I can say, hello, everyone. I'm Linda Richmond. Welcome to Coffee Talk. Here, we're going to talk about coffee. We're going to talk about our dogs. We're going to talk about our daughters. We're going to feed them some water, maybe some coffee. We'll get together. We'll discuss. It'll be beautiful. It'll be like butter. You'll love
Talk
it.
amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to give you a topic. Ready? The Vista View has neither a vista nor a view. Discuss.
Perfect. The peanut is neither a peanut nor a nut. Of course, I can't do it like you. Talk amongst yourselves.
It's neither a peanut nor a nut. It's a legume. It's a legume.
Did you see when oh, what's her name? Oh my gosh.
Never
I
forget old what's her name.
Oh, I know. Holy crap. Every now and then there would be a Madonna. There would be a surprise visitor. When Madonna walked in, as they were talking about her, making fun of her, and they all about crapped their pants because it was a surprise visit. They did it with Barbara Streisand too.
Yes,
Hilarious.
I remember that one vividly. Yeah. And I used to love to impersonate the church lady too. That was one of my favorites. Of course, that was when I was, in middle school. And so I probably did not do it very well, but it was fun nonetheless.
I wonder who made you do that. Could it
He's
be
verklempt.
Satan?
And I think it's spelled verklempt, right? But it's pronounced verklempt.
I'm verklempt. I'm all verklempt.
I'm sorely disappointed that, and I don't mean to bring a bummer topic up because I want to continue on with a good feeling, but it didn't give me a good feeling when they pulled Jimmy Kimmel off the air.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I've been covering the Charlie Kirk shooting, and what I've been advocating for is for us to see each other as human beings and to stop dehumanizing each other, even when we disagree, and also to allow people to have their opinions. And we can disagree with people and still remain friends. In fact, I've mentioned many times on my show that my partner Samuel and I, we disagree on a wide variety of different topics, but we always bring kindness and respect to our conversations. And at the end of the day, it's the character of the human being that matters the most. And I love the story that you shared, Randy, because as someone mentioned in the chat, when this person had a heart attack, nobody stopped to ask him if he was MAGA or left. Nobody stopped to, ask him what religion he was before they helped him. And that's one of the things that, it's horrible when bad things happen, but it's one of the inspiring things to me that when something tragic happens, most of the time we see people come together and forget about their divisions and forget about their differences. And this is why I say so often that I wish more people would focus on, especially right now, is that we have way more in common than we do different about each other. And that we all want the same things for ourselves and the people we love and care about. And that we can find common ground if we're actually willing to look for it and to listen to what people are saying. And I think if we would listen more to people when they're speaking and ask better questions, I think that we would be able to find that common ground better. And so I just think it's important for us, if we really care about our fellow human beings, we need to listen and ask a lot of questions, listen to understand rather than listening to respond.
Absolutely. I could
Well
not
said.
agree more.
Well,
Serena,
I
go ahead.
also had a good news thing, but while I was watching that video, Randy, it reminded me of 9/11 and how we saw just the whole nation really come together at that time. And it's sad that it takes something so horrific to bring people together, but the bottom line is, when our lives are threatened by some kind of outside force, that is the usual reaction for us to come together and care about each other and to care more about solving the problem and saving the life and saving the human than trying to finger point and blame. That all comes later.
Right.
And that's kind of what's sad, is that after the imminent threat is down away from our face, then we start to finger point and blame and dehumanize. And all of that just comes out of fear. I really think that a lot of our division, whether it be politically or religiously or just values fundamentals, when somebody says something that feels threatening to our way of life, we are afraid. And the walls that come up and the hate and the division that gets spewed back and forth is really a fear response. We're just afraid that our way of life is being threatened. And instead, I think if we listen to each other a little bit, we would realize that, a lot of times when people vote for a particular political candidate, it's out of fear that something bad is going to happen to them or their way of life or the people they love and care about. And I think if we focused more on that, we would realize that, that's where the common ground is.
I think that's very wise.
Yeah, there's a
Sage?
lot of negative advertising when politics come into play. So I always thought one day I would run on a campaign. I am way less worse than that other guy or girl. See how far that gets. So you have another thing to share, or Megan, you have something to queue up as well?
I do. I just have it's really it's just a news article that came across my feed earlier this week. And it's one of those heartwarming stories. I always love the story that comes around every Thanksgiving about the guy who received a text from a lady that said, Thanksgiving dinner's at 4. And he said, well, you have a wrong number, but can I still get a plate? And they still have Thanksgiving dinner together every year for, I think, something like 10 years or something like that afterwards. And this story reminded me of that story where an Uber driver took a man to the hospital. And it was because the man had been skateboarding and he fell and broke his arm, and he didn't have great insurance at the time. So he called an Uber instead of calling an ambulance. And the Uber driver felt bad that the guy didn't have anybody with him in the ER. So he stayed with this guy, and they're still friends 7 years later. His family couldn't get to him for, a long time. And it turned out that the Uber driver stayed with him until his family member was able to get there. So this was back in 2018. just kept him company because most of his family was not around, and they were out of state. He was in a really dark place because his little brother, who's pictured here, had died in 2008 at age 10 of childhood leukemia, and he was really struggling at the time. And so the fact that this Uber driver was just willing to sit with him in the hospital until his family members got there just really was touching to him. And they're still friends 7 years later. So
It
I
doesn't
just
say
thought that was
anywhere
super cool.
that the guy was Mormon or anything.
It does not. I don't see that listed anywhere.
You probably remember that. We would watch.
I
the news,
would remember it. Yeah.
but we would watch the news. Our family would watch the news, and somebody would do something good, and and my mom would say, "I bet he's Mormon," or "She's Mormon," or something like that. It's like, why can't just normal people be good, right?
Yeah, right?
That's one of those things too. As I was, on my way out of the church, I started thinking about all the people in my life that are just kind, decent, wonderful human beings, that some of them are not religious at all. In fact, a family who's, I taught two of their kids and they became close friends. And they were religious. I don't want to say that they're atheists necessarily, but they just never taught their kids any kind of religion or spirituality. And they're some of the kindest, most wonderful people that I've ever known. And they've been there for me on some of my worst days. And they don't have any kind of religion at all. And that was one of the things that I listed as I was going through my deconstruction, is that I know so many good people who don't believe in God at all.
When my wife passed away, she was in the hospital for 6 months with leukemia, and I thought she was going to live, but I called the bishop of our ward because I wanted him to come help me give her a blessing, and he came. It took him a while, and he assigned a Relief Society sister to help me with laundry and stuff. So she said that if I brought my laundry to the hospital, not to the hospital, I can't remember where we met, that she would take it from me and do that laundry. I thought that was really nice. She only did one load over the 6 months, but once my wife passed away, and I went to church, the bishop never said a word. No one in the church, no one in the congregation, and not that Relief Society president, no one came up and offered their sympathy, their condolences. I was just a lone man in the wilderness. And I'm thinking, I really, in my mind, was thinking what a jackass the bishop was for knowing that my wife had passed and not coming up to me and saying, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your wife passed away." Nothing. It's like, so that was the last time I visited the ward. I saw all the couples together, and but my point is not to be a bummer. My point is there were so many people outside of the church that just went out of their way, outside of, and some of my LDS friends too, not in my ward, would just call me and take me under their wing and and show me love and compassion. It was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life, and they were there, but no one in my congregation was. So I was so appreciative of the people that went out of their way, LDS or not, to show me love and help me through a time that I didn't think I was going to make it through.
I'm so glad that you had that support, and I'm sad that your ward was not that for you, which is what they always say, the ward family, they're the first ones who should show up for you, especially when you've lost a family member. And I'm so sad
Right?
that didn't happen for you.
Yeah. Well, I found a new community now, of which I'm a part of and I love so much. And You're all in the chat, and Mormon atheists, thank you for your condolences. You know, I'm blessed to have Amanda now, and I know that my late wife is the one that brought us together. And that's a whole different show, but I know that she's the one, in whatever form she's in, that helped Amanda and I get together, because she knew what I needed and what Amanda needed. And we both needed each other, and we still do.
That's a
And I
great
don't-
story. And if you want to hear it, you can go look at the episode on my channel called Good Grief with Randy Watts.
Excellent.
That's right. That's one thing about when you do shows, you don't have to say this thing over and over again. You can just tell people, go watch our old
Just go
shows.
watch that video.
Like that. And Megan said something earlier about a belief in people believe in God. And it made me think, we never hear what God believes in.
Or where he's from.
Or where he's
Well,
from.
I think we can deduce what is important to him by looking at his behavior throughout scriptures.
That's right. And Megan did that. What did you do? You did a show, right? Or no, that was part of your
No,
deconstruction. Once you decided
Well-
that you were going to talk to everybody about how good God was as a parent. After a
No,
little while.
it was way back actually in 2005, 2006 or so, when
Right. I'll say
blogging
that's
just
the
became a
beginning.
thing. That was part, yeah, that was a big part of I put it on my shelf, but it was kind of
Yeah.
a big thing on my shelf. It took up a lot of space because, you know, my parents were not the healthiest people, and my growing up time was not fun for me. And so I decided when I started having kids, I was going to try to learn how to do it better. And I thought, well, I'm just going to search the scriptures for examples of good parents. And I thought, wow, let me just see God as a parent. God is the only perfect parent. So I started a blog. My sister and I were going to write it together. I would write one week and she would write the next week. And I got 2 posts in and I was like, I can't do this.
That's right. A good parent
Because-
would kill all their children except for one.
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
I even wrote in the front of my Mormon scriptures, which is a big deal if you're going to write something in the front of your scriptures. I wrote a bunch of questions that I was going to try to get answered as I read through the Bible, looking for examples of how well God treated his children. And one of the questions was, you know, how does he handle punishment? Because that was one of my big questions as a parent, because with my parents, it was like the wooden spoon or the belt or send you to your room and think about what you did. And I didn't want to do that with my kids anymore because it doesn't work. It just makes your kids fear you. And so, yeah, that was one of my big questions, and it did not go well trying to answer that in the Bible.
If they disobey you, if your kids disobey you, just throw them in the pool and drown them.
Drown them. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or wait
Ugh.
until a little later and shove them in the barbecue grill and clamp the lid down and
Or
let them
just
burn.
strike them with lightning or something, you know.
Yeah.
That is kind of interesting. That's like a common thing. God will send lightning and kill you. But does that exist in the Bible anywhere?
I don't think it does. I think we've, like, people have been struck down, but I don't know if it specifies lightning, but I think we
Right.
infer maybe we
Right.
assume it's lightning, but
It's got to be lightning because God's in
Lightning's a
heaven
good
and
way.
heaven's in the clouds.
I think that's a confluence of the God of the Old Testament and Greek mythology, because there was, you know, the lightning bolt maker, and then Zeus would throw lightning bolts.
Right.
Have you ever seen the videos of someone like 3 or 4 people under a tree and lightning strikes the tree and all of the people just collapse dead?
I've not seen those, thank
I
goodness,
mean,
but
it's not a happy video, but yeah, I've seen it.
All I can say is they must have been sinners. But
right.
not
Well,
really.
and what I always, you know, the conclusion that I came to was that, man, God is really petty. You know, if he doesn't like the way that you did that particular thing, if it wasn't exactly right, it was like, oh, well, that's it. Your time's up. You know?
Did you ever think as you were a kid that if it rained is because God was watering his flowers with a little can of water and it just came through the ground and became the rain from the sky?
Why
No,
no,
but I
Gene?
always loved the Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy on Saturday Night Live because he would say, whenever a child asks me, why is it raining? I like to say it's because God is crying. And when the child asks me, why is God crying? I like to say it's because of something you did.
Yeah.
Deep Thoughts by
That's
Jack
right.
Handy.
So, Randy, you
I,
have another happy thing to share?
Yeah, I do. This is really happy. I don't know if you've ever seen a flash mob before. And for those of you who don't know, and most everyone does, but a flash mob is when there's a pre-planned performance, but they are all disguised as, for instance, shopping in a mall, you know, and one guy sits down and starts to play the guitar and sing, and suddenly someone across the hallway joins in, and then another, and pretty soon, you know, half the mall is singing and performing, and the other people are just astounded.
Right.
My son Garrett sent me a performance, one of the coolest flash mobs I think I've ever seen, and I believe it takes place in. Did I already play this on the air once?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I think it takes place in either Chicago or New York. I can't tell, but let me play it for you. And I don't know if I can. This is Instagram. Not sure if I can go full screen or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Does it have volume? Right.
No escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. Not just the moon, Lord, I need nothing because I'm easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Anywhere the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life had just begun, but now I've got it thrown it all away. Mama, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, 'cause if nothing really matters. Too late, my time has come, sent shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all.
So that is the first half. Should I play the second half?
Well, we're going to get copyright struck anyway, so it's up to you. I do have to say, when you sent this to me, over text. The kid with the guitar was absolutely my favorite part.
Oh yeah, he is crazy good.
That's definitely a feel good thing. Love it.
Yeah. Anyway, I love that everyone came together and the people on the streets were just loving it. And yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Although if I had been in the area at the time, I would have been like, that's an amp over there. I'd be like, there's chimes hanging from the tree over there. What's going on? Something's about to happen.
Right?
Just with my music background, I've done a few flash mobs before, and there are little subtle signs here and there.
I just love the whole concept of a flash
I do
mob.
too. The other thing I love that has seems to have gone away is doing the pay it forward thing in the Starbucks line of paying for the person behind you. And when that started out, I always thought it was so cool, but I always felt bad for whoever offered to pay for my stuff because it was usually, me and my kids getting hot chocolate and pumpkin bread and stuff, not just one cup of coffee.
Joseph Smith didn't like flash mobs. I'll just throw that in there.
He didn't like any mobs.
Didn't like any mobs.
Yeah.
Speaking
Also didn't
of
like
mobs,
printing presses.
speaking of mobs, I noticed Kiki just put something about pride, and that's one of the funnest things in the world is going to Pride, because that's a group where it's like everyone loves each other. It's they have grasped the concept of just love everyone despite their beliefs or their systems. I went to Pride in West Hollywood with my son Garrett. Now there's a rock and rolling show for you.
I
And
bet.
there was a kid in a booth that, I don't know, it was some kind of a booth where you could find out about AIDS and stuff. And he recognized Garrett and called Garrett over, and they were friends, come to find out. And Garrett introduced me as his dad. And the kid came around the counter and asked if he could have a hug. And I gave him that hug, and he was weeping. He said, "It makes me so happy to see a dad that supports his kids, because my dad has disowned me and disowned me the minute he found out I was gay."
Mm,
And that, that made me teary,
yeah.
that whole experience. But he loved me instantly because I was there. He didn't have to find out what religion I was and what my beliefs were and how I'm obeying the commandments in order to show me just true, pure love. So I'm part of a group called Dragon Dads, and one of the members makes T-shirts that says "Dad Hugs," and then lists behind all the services I offer: supportive word, a hug, just. And I love to wear that out, because if people ask me, I'm so happy to tell them what it's all about. And there's a lot of people that will accept hugs, especially in Pride, because they just want that human support, that human love.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's such a rare thing, and I love that you do that. If he ever makes a mom one, let me know. I would love one.
okay.
I know there's something called Mama Dragons based in Utah, and I don't know if anybody knows about them, but if you're in Utah and you want to support supporters, then you can join that group, and they do some things together, and they organize supportive events. So do you have any other things, Randy, to share?
Well, that's those are my two videos that I had prepared. I was just going to say about Pride. my little Chihuahua, which many of you have seen, who's sitting right here beside me.
Oliver Kitty.
Oliver Kitty. He always goes to Pride, and this is Oliver Kitty. He's always with me at Pride, and he has a special Pride outfit. He dresses up like a butterfly with wings that are the Pride colors, you know, and he's a big hit at the Pride parades.
I bet
Everyone wants
he's the main character.
to love on Oliver Kitty.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I actually have some news. It's not necessarily exactly great news or good news, but it's something the church is proud of. And Latter Daily Digest honors creators, and we have new YouTubers out there. And this is kind of a lighthearted share, right? And so we have church leaders find new audience on YouTube channels. So the Prophet has a video called Peacemakers. I don't know how viral that has gone. Peacemakers needed. Dallin Oaks says peace is from Jesus Christ, which is following Randy. What's the name of the church going to be pretty soon?
The Church of Jesus Christ.
And no Latter-day Saints. That's Randy's prediction.
Yes.
You can go on our show a couple weeks ago where we made predictions with Peter Bleakley, and that was one of Randy's. So,
Hey, look, it's Henry B. Cryan.
Henry B. Cryan. We call him the GOAT because he sounds like a goat whenever he talks.
Shouldn't make fun of that. I actually really appreciate the open sharing of sincere vulnerable emotion, especially in men, especially publicly.
As long as it's not queued up in his talk, right? Where it says start crying.
In parentheses, cry here.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that. I'm a crybaby. Anytime I see something that makes me feel good, like that flash mob right there, or the performance of the comedian where the guy had a heart attack. I mean, I'll have to give up my man card when I tell you this, but it makes me cry. Or I'll sit in my room and listen to songs that just make the tears flow.
I used to get made fun of relentlessly by my siblings, my brothers mostly, as a younger girl, because I would cry at the Olympics during the medal ceremonies. Even when somebody just would win, I would cry. I would cry when I would go to SeaWorld and I would see the trainer jump off of the nose of the orca. And I know that's all very problematic now, but it just always made me emotional to see somebody work really, really hard at something and be really, really good at it. And
Right.
like thinking about the sacrifices that they must have made to get there and all of that. So
That's right. And so here is Brother Holland, Elder Holland, talking about the importance of Kirtland, Ohio. What do you think he was talking about in that one, Randy or Megan?
polygamy?
That's what I was thinking. Fanny
That's where it
Alger.
started? Fanny Alger?
Right? Yeah. Well, what was that, Megan? Was that you or somebody else saying, like, I don't know. Remember when it first came out? Like, there she was alone in a barn. It'll be a night she'll never forget or something.
No, the church actually came out with an article about Joseph and Fanny, and it was supposed to be about Fanny's testimony, that the prophet had borne his testimony to her and she was so touched by it. But they titled the article the experience in the barn she would never forget, or something like that. And it was just so tone deaf because it was like, do you not realize what you're doing?
I'm almost positive he shared his priesthood with her in one way or another. We'll just
His
leave it
powers
at that.
and his priesthood. Yeah.
Yeah.
All kinds of, yeah.
So I have
Power
shared
in the priesthood.
in the comments the link to this if anybody wants to see these new creators, new on the street, right? And here's all the ats that you can for all the people. And I suppose they're going to keep on adding to this list as they add more apostles. And they should have a click here for all the 70s channels, but we don't care about them apparently in this article. And
I think
so,
I'm going to take a pass on that, honestly.
so yeah,
probably
that's,
won't waste much time on that.
in a way, for some people, it's good news that they're YouTube creators, right? And certainly, if you do happen upon those channels and you watch, feel free to comment and share your authentic self. And
I
don't be
am
too
really
hard on 'em.
curious, and I do think that I probably will take some of those for commentary, and I'm very curious to see if I will get copyright strikes for using fair use, YouTube's fair use policy for reusing other videos for commentary. It'll be interesting to see. I'll let you know.
Church-
If my channel disappears, you'll know what happened.
Church produced videos.
Yeah.
Well, that's scary. I guess I need to learn a little bit about copyright strikes, but first of all, I'll never hear anyone say, "I'll take a pass on that" ever again without thinking of the judge in Lori's trial.
Yeah. Judge Boreski.
Just because none of us have any other videos, I do want to share something that, and I don't mean to dwell on the comedian Drew Lynch, but this is the real Drew. We all have things that we're self-conscious about, and I'll be vulnerable enough to tell you that my hands shake, and sometimes it's very awkward and embarrassing for me, but it's the first time I met my biological mother when I was 38. One of the first questions she asked me was, "Do your hands shake?" And I said, yeah. And the older I get, the worse it gets. And I've passed it on to a couple of my kids too. But we all have things that we're self-conscious about, vulnerable about, and Drew Lynch has obstacles that he has to overcome. When he was on America's Got Talent, he had a very difficult time speaking. When he was younger, he was in a softball game or a baseball game, and he went to get a ground ball, and the baseball, flipped up and hit him in the throat, and did something to his vocal cords and the way they connect with his mind. And he's been through all kinds of therapy, and he can get up on a stage and present an awesome show, but every now and then he has these difficulties, and he just posted this video that I wanted to share with you and maybe show you that some of our weaknesses and our vulnerabilities are so trivial compared to what he's had to go through. So do you mind if I share that?
Please do.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want me to add
I
it to
wanted
the-
you to film.
Well, here I go again with my expertise. Oh, there it is. Okay.
There you go.
What is going on?
So you press the
What's
wrong
going
button,
on?
and that happens. So go back to the share presenter invite. And so I'll just say that if there ever was America's Not Talented, I would surely be in the top contenders for that.
Okay, so for some reason, you know what's happening is I accidentally hit the stop sharing button.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, folks.
I wanted you to film because I thought it was funny that this just came on just now. It's like
This is him and his wife together.
A stutter attack. It just attacks my whole body, and it just came on.
So it's a cross between him feeling embarrassed and like it's funny because it just we're just about to go to lunch. I'm not crying because I'm upset. I just feel very vulnerable. And we have a lunch planned with my family downstairs. I'm a bit embarrassed to go, and I don't know why. That's such a stupid thing. I just don't. Every time this happens, I just like. It just brings me. It just brings me back to, old shit. I want to be present for my family, for my dad and stuff, and I don't know. I don't want to take any additional attention and shit. I was just sitting here with you, and it just came on, Winslow, what do you feel right now? Because I know that you don't. I know this doesn't happen that much.
I mean, for me, I feel like it's, the accumulation of how stressful this trip has been. And
I've been managing it, but I don't think it's that. So I'm just tired and hungry, and honestly, I'm like, I'm just.
do you want to get you water, hon?
No, I'm okay. I just know. I just haven't had an event like this since October.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the accumulation of like little sleep last night, not that much food, the travel day.
I thought it was funny initially. I was like, because I know I said something to you, and then and it was just so much. I was just like are you were like, are you ready to go downstairs? And I was like, it was just so much for a one-word answer. Keeps me guessing. So,
What do you feel right now?
I feel embarrassed, I guess. I just feel like I can't go down to have lunch. With my family.
I don't want to draw attention to this.
Yeah, you're not drawing attention to it. It's just it is what it is right now.
I feel like I've just come up with so many ways over the years to address it when it happens and ease the tension when it's happening. But and the whole like all like 300 days a year I am good. I'm like Denver. I'm like 300 days a year I'm sunshine. And then there's some days where it's just like I walk around for those 300 days just so cocky. I'm just like, oh, I got, I just take it for granted. I take it for granted that I'm sometimes like that I'm so much better, And then days like today, where it just kicks my ass, and I sound like it's so bad. I guess it's just a lesson. I guess it's just a lesson that I'm not above what happens. Sometimes I just forget. I have so many great days in a row, and I just don't fucking. I'm just mad at myself. I'm just mad that I just like carry myself like this can't come back, and it does sometimes, and I'm not mad that it does. I'm just mad at the times that I just pretend like it can't. Like I'm just in denial.
There you go.
I just admire him so much for having that and standing up on stage and being able to do. Oh, now I'm stuttering. Being able to deliver an incredible show, but it points out that we have vulnerabilities, and I guess it just is what it is. I get so frustrated trying to put a screwdriver to a screw and turning it with my hands when they start shaking so bad. And I love that my Amanda supports me in that. And I love that Drew's wife is so supportive of him. He talks about her in his comedy show. But I also love that we all have these weaknesses and these vulnerabilities that we're self-conscious about. And most people, it endears them to you rather than turns them away from you. People actually are good and feel an empathy or sympathy for you and want to comfort you. And that to me is a good news story.
Yeah, I'm so glad you shared that, Randy. Thank you. And thanks for, sharing your struggle with us too, because when we share our weaknesses with each other, it gives other people permission to feel human too. And, I think it's so important Just because we all have these things that we struggle with, and when we share them, it sort of helps unburden some of that pain. So thank you for sharing that and sharing what you're struggling with too.
That's right. And we
course.
can share these things because there is good in the world.
Exactly.
So that answers our question. So Megan, about a half an hour ago in our private chat that only the super secret group of 3 get to see, you shared something.
4.
Would you like to see that? Would you like to share that?
Sure.
You want me to share it?
Yeah, go ahead and share. Kiki and I, we have started a new channel. It's called Ex Mormon Snark. It's where, if you've watched our Monday night family home evening lives, we've decided to move that to a brand new channel. There's only one video and a few shorts up there now, but and also we're going to change that picture because we both look super angry for some reason. But Kirsten and I have so much fun. We have a lot in common. We have found all of these weird connections from our previous Mormon time, and we're helping each other dig through our Mormon deconstruction trauma. And so our family nights are super fun. We're also going to have a whole bunch of other videos where we talk about our temple experiences, Kirsten's experiences as an EFY counselor. So if you are interested in Mormonism, and you wouldn't be here if you weren't, you should totally go and follow our new channel. It's going to be a good time over there.
If you haven't seen these two together in this show, I will tell you that their humor and warm thoughts jump out of the screen and hit you right in your face and chest. It's such an enjoyable experience to watch these two in action.
Thank you for that.
There you go. And I think on Tuesdays with Tim, we're going to, and I haven't told Tim yet, but we're going to invade his living room and we're going to talk about maybe the new church essays. We'll just sort of run through them. Maybe we'll have ChatGPT give us like a 5-word summary on each essay and see what it can do. And we'll read them and talk about how the church is spinning history again. But, it always spins it with a little bit more truth yarn.
Yeah, it adds just a couple of drops of truth into the sea, into the ocean of obfuscation.
There you go. So we can start to see clearly now, almost.
The rain is gone.
We see through a glass darkly, for sure.
That's right.
Thanks, everyone, for attending today. We were a little bit late because I was out in traffic, stuck in traffic somewhere. And Megan has grandkids, right, in town. And we got to see one.
A little peek, yeah.
A little peek.
He was sleeping next to me here this whole time, and he woke up during that video clip. So
there you go. And so we'll let Megan get to her family. There is good in the world. And part of the good that I have is being able to share some time with Megan and Randy.
As is the case with me, getting to share it with y'all.
Okay.
Thanks
and
for
by
being
the way,
humans.
Yeah, thank you. And if you wouldn't mind, I always have to throw this commercial in. Share this with your friends and maybe hit that like button if you haven't, because then it helps us all.
That's right. And I'll also say that Randy and I have a couple of cool shows coming up. Samantha from Morm with Those Who Morm is coming up. And also Randy and I interviewed twin sisters who were basically sex trafficked into polygamy as teenagers.
Sister wives, literally.
Sister wives to the same man, because the dad told the polygamist they had to take them both together. You couldn't take, I have a favorite. You had to take them both. And so it reminds me of some story in the Bible where somebody worked for 7 years and then the dad says, "Oh yeah, here's your bride with a veil on," and it's the wrong bride. So then the guy had to work 7 more years in order to get the polygamist bride that he wanted. So another God being a great dad in the Old Testament story.
Woohoo!
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great rest of 2025. And we'll see you next week.